Hey, I'm Shane with Shane's Law. Today we're talking about one of our recent client victories here at the firm. I'm talking with Sam, one of our attorneys, about one of her clients where she just really got a great settlement offer for this client. This is AH. Sam, tell me about this accident. What happened?
Sure. So our client was driving down the highway the day after Christmas with his wife in the car, and there was a man that was next to them. He improperly changed the lane. He hit them. Their car then veered into the median and unfortunately hit the median pretty hard. And after the accident happened, we did find out that this person that hit them was drunk.
Were they moving when they got sideswiped, or
Yes.
were they stopped?
They were both driving down the highway.
Seems to be a theme lately, is sideswipe collisions going at high rates of speed is what I'll say.
It's scary.
And this was the day after Christmas?
The day after Christmas.
Wow, that just stinks is all I'll say. But you said the person who hit him, we found out had been drinking?
Yes, he was highly intoxicated.
How did that impact the case overall?
So when someone is intoxicated and decides to get behind the wheel in North Carolina, there's something called punitive damages, which are damages that you can get if someone is injured. It's additional damages that punish the defendant for their behavior, such as driving intoxicated. So that was something that we could add to the case.
Okay. How were the injuries?
Unfortunately, our client suffered a broken back.
Wow.
His lower back, he had 2 bones that became fractured as a result of the accident.
Wow. So anytime I hear broken back, bad as it sounds, immediately conjures images of quadriplegic, paraplegic, things like that. Is that what happened here? Or was it like a fracture?
It was a fracture. Luckily, he was able to move and walk around, not comfortably, and he was in a lot of pain, but he did get diagnosed with a fracture, and it took him a lot of months to heal.
I was going to say, and that's just what we think, but a lot of times it's a fracture like this case. Still scary, still potentially life-changing.
Yeah, you can't really do anything. You can you just heal at that point.
Because every time he moves, it hurts, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do for that, right? You can't cast your back.
You can't. I mean, he could wear a back brace, but he said that just exasperated his pain. So really, he had to lay down a lot. It was hard for him to move around his house. He suffered for quite a few months with the fracture.
I was going to say, I know like when I had a broken rib, every time you move, it hurts. And I assume it would be the same for the lower back.
Yep.
Any kind of treatment for him other than just tough it out?
He went to an orthopedist just to monitor and make sure that, nothing got worse. He did go on some medication just to ensure that his pain levels were decreased. And eventually, it was probably 6 to 7 months after the accident, he was able to move around normally.
Wow, so it took that long.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time he was on medication, or he was wearing a back brace, or he was checking into the doctor and all that kind of stuff. So how was the insurance company? Did they fight you a lot on things? Did they not? Did they say, well, because it was a punitive, a drunk driver, we're gonna pay? How did that go?
We anticipated negotiations to go fairly quickly. That is not what happened. Unfortunately, the insurance company dragged their feet. It took many months for them to even give us an initial offer on the case. While we were waiting for initial offer, we actually had to go to court for the DWI criminal case, and my client had to be a witness for the DWI trial.
Wow.
So we did have to go through that, and then we eventually did get the offer that we were looking for.
So did the person fight the DWI, basically? It sounds like they were trying not to take responsibility for the actions there, or what happened there?
They attempted to fight the DWI. However, he had a driving record since 1997, and he had prior DWIs.
Wow.
As well as this one.
And we see that pretty common. And in this particular case, it came out to be true, I guess.
Yeah.
So they fought the DWI. I assume he got convicted of that, or that got resolved. After that, did the insurance company then make a fair offer? Or did they continue to fight about it and try to say, well, it doesn't matter here?
Eventually, they did give us a fair offer, and the offer was what we asked for, which was the full policy limits of the person that hit them. So we were able to get it resolved. It just took a lot longer than we thought it would.
So it wasn't one of these things where you just send some paperwork in and it's done.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Unfortunately. It was frustrating to both me and the client, but we were able to get them.
Were you able to explain to the client, hey, this is what's going on, you got to be patient, you got to keep letting me fight, or how did that go with the client?
I was able to explain that to him as best as I could, but him and I both grew impatient once we got to probably like 4 months into it, and we have been waiting for an offer. He understood, and when we finally did get the offer and I was able to explain to him all of his medical bills would be paid, what he was getting in his pocket, he was very happy.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you said you got the policy limits, which is all the money the insurance company has to offer?
Correct.
So, and you said the client was very happy overall with the settlement as well?
He was.
Okay, did he tell you what he was going to use the money for?
He did not, but I assume that he and his wife will maybe take a vacation.
Take a vacation. Since the Christmas holidays were wrecked, they're going to go take a vacation, you think? Okay.
I think so.
All right, well, wonderful. I mean, it sounds like a great result. It sounds like client was really fortunate to have you on the team, that you could, rush towards a settlement, and that you could counsel him and honestly fight with him, throughout this whole process to make the insurance company make a fair offer, even though it was a DWI on this case.
It was pretty clear cut, we thought, but it did take a little bit of extra work.
Wow. Sounds like you did a great job, and great work for the client, and I'm glad you were on the team and glad you got this client out. And remember, Charlotte, if you're in pain, call Shane, 980-999-9999.
In pain, so I call Shane. 980-999-9999. In pain, call Shane.